A news hour tonight. APC wins all 23 chairmanship seats and 255 ward councillors in Kaduna local government polls. Ex-military leader Yakubu Gowon celebrates 90th birthday. Discos restore power after third grid collapse in a week. And the foreign thing, gunmen assassinate Mozambique presidential hopeful. Hello and welcome to Trust TV's News Hour. I am Chiamaka Mwafo. The news. The chairman of the Kaduna State Independent Electoral Commission, Kadseikam Hajia Hajera Mohammed, has announced the results of Saturday's local government election held in the state. According to Mohammed, the All Progressives Congress APC emerged winner of all 23 local government chairmanship seats, as well as the 255 ward council seats in the state. The election was said to be relatively peaceful across the state, save for reports of voter apathy and late arrival of materials and electoral officers in some polling units.
The electoral officers and internal officers have filed their reports, and at the end of the exercise, 23 won chairmanship position and 255 won councillorship position. The 23 local government returning officers and 255 ward returning officers have declared the results in their respective constituency and submitted their results in accordance with the law alongside the electoral officers. By the power vested on the Commission, I hereby wish to confirm the result earlier collected and returned by the returning officers. I am confirming these results as follows. APC won the 23 local government chairmanship position and the 23 and 255 ward councillorship position across the state.
Still staying with the local government elections in Kaduna State, opposition parties in Kaura local government have expressed dismay over the failure of the State Independent Electoral Commission, KADSEICOM, to conduct the local council elections in the area. At a joint press conference held at the premises of the SEICOM office in Kaura on Saturday, the chairman of the Labour and People's Democratic Parties, Husaya Jonathan and Rikichi David, alleged that the action has further exposed plans by the Commission to collude with the ruling All Progressives Congress to subvert the wishes of the people. The party leaders called on the SEICOM chairman to come out clean and release all result sheets to ensure the smooth conduct of the exercise. They, however, appealed to the electorate to remain calm until the election was conducted and results announced.
Have been lying to us all through. They have made us to sign or make a semblance of peace accords, which they themselves knew they were not going to keep. In the first place, all political parties were supposed to have accompanied these materials from Central Bank to SEICOM, State SEICOM, and down here. But this was not followed. Like my friend said here, they were chased away like rats, and they used government fiat, using the military coercion to bring the materials here. The materials came here 3 minutes after 3 a.m. There was no any escort, no political party. When we complained, they said that was an instruction given to them.
What happened yesterday with us in Kaduna during picking up these materials, they still follow us down to Kaura. And we want to tell people that election did not hold in Kaura. The materials are still there, and the EO himself had addressed this house that election did not hold at exactly 10 minutes past 4. And we had a rumor that they are coming to announce the winner of the election later in the day. We inform all the security agencies here in Kaura that we in Kaura, no election and no result should be announced.
Late arrival of election materials and officials this Saturday marred the local government elections held in Kaduna State. The election was supposed to have started by 8 a.m., but as of 10 a.m., voting was yet to commence in most polling units. Trust TV's reporter, who visited several collation centers in some parts of the state, reports that materials were yet to be distributed to polling units hours after the planned commencement of the exercise. Here's the report.
This was the situation at the SECOM office at Magajingari in Kaduna North local government area. However, the absence of the result sheet delayed the commencement of the election.
What is happening here, you know that today is the deal day. Today is the election day. Where I can say that I'm here since yesterday, waiting for the election material. The election material were there, but the sensitive material were not there. Just look at the time now. This is 16 minutes after 9, in which all these materials are supposed to be disposed to the polling unit at least by 8 o'clock. The exercise will start by 8 o'clock. It will end by 4 o'clock. But up to now, we are waiting. Nothing has been done.
By all indication, the people that were supposed to do the prepare the election, they are not ready, because up till now, the ballot papers were not in the polling unit. Even when you go to the polling unit, you will not see that they have displaced names of the voters and other things, which is...
The entrance to the SECOM office at Megajingari was besieged by the people and some members of the opposition party who lamented the delay in the commencement of the election.
For them to just show us the returning officer of the various ward, which we have none here as we speak, nor do we have result sheet for the ward officers, for the wards, no, that of the local government. That has been the contention here, and our party has decided that no election material shall be moved from this point to any polling unit or to any ward unless we cite those more sensitive electoral materials, which are the result sheet for the ward and that of the local government.
The People Democratic Party (PDP) in Kaduna have kicked against the election,
because lover of democracy, not PDP, insisted on the right thing to be done. Number one, no result sheet. So what are we going to go and do? The so-called polling unit result sheet is for 2021. So what are we going to input there?
On the eve of the election, the electoral umpire in the state had assured the people of a credible election.
We have been working all together with all stakeholders to ensure that this election is credible, and all aspect indices that are supposed to be put in place to ensure the credibility of the election has been put. And as you can see, we work together with the political parties, civil society, and the security agencies, all to ensure that our elections are free, fair, and credible.
However, at polling unit in Chidunwada, election material arrived late in the afternoon. Yalla Musa, Trust TV News Kaduna.
Still staying with local government elections, over in Kogi State, this Saturday, election reportedly kicked off peacefully as scheduled across the 21 local government areas of the state. Now, reports say while some prospective voters came out to exercise their franchise, many polling units were without voters, particularly in Lokoja and its metropolis. At 10 a.m. in Lokoja, the state capital, Daily Trust reported that electoral officers and materials were yet to arrive at many popular designated polling stations, particularly at Phase 2, NEPA office along IBB main driveway and other areas in the Lokoja metropolis. For instance, at a polling unit at Kafa Event Center in Phase 2 area, only 2 policemen were seen on duty without electoral officers or materials as at 10 a.m. The situation was, however, different at a polling unit at Crowther Memorial School, Lokoja. Some voters were seen casting their votes with heavy presence of security operators. Reports from the Eastern Senatorial District of the state said the election was peaceful but marred by late or non-arrival of electoral materials or officers in many polling units. Meanwhile, election violence-prone towns like Ayimba, Egume and Ejule in Dekina and Ufu local governments were said to be calm, except for reports of late or non-arrival of electoral materials officers in many polling units. However, many people were seen going about their normal businesses as many business centers, offices and shops were open for operations. General Yakubu Gowon, Nigeria's former head of state, marks his 90th birthday today, reflecting on a life dedicated to public service. Gowon, who led Nigeria through the turbulent years of the Civil War, played a pivotal role in keeping the nation united during one of its darkest chapters. Abdullahi Ahmed takes a look at his remarkable stewardship and lasting impact in Nigeria to commemorate this milestone. Take a look.
Yakubu Jack Gowon was born on October 19, 1934. He's a former Nigerian military head of state, best known for leading Nigeria through its civil war. His leadership during one of the most turbulent times in Nigeria's history shaped not only his legacy, but the trajectory of the nation.
Let me say from the onset that I regard this as a Nigerian problem to be solved by Nigerians. Our experience over the last 2.5 years does not encourage us to believe that many of those who offer us their hands of friendship are actually friends, or that the advice we receive from so many quarters is honest and helpful. Our problems have been complicated by foreigners who think they understand Nigerians or Africans better than we do ourselves. So-called humanitarians have deliberately fanned the flames and helped to prolong the suffering of our people.
Gowon, an Anglican Christian from the Angas ethnic group in Plateau State, rose to power after the 1966 counter-coup. This event followed a coup earlier that year which had inflamed ethnic tensions and political instability in Nigeria. Yakubu Gowon, who at the time was a 31-year-old military officer, was chosen as a neutral figure to lead the country, being neither Hausa Fulani nor Igbo, two dominant ethnic groups at the center of the conflict.
The so-called rising sun of Biafra is set forever. It will be a great disservice for anyone to continue to use the word Biafra to refer to any part of the East Central state of Nigeria. The tragic chapter of violence is just ended. We are at the dawn of national reconciliation.
In 1967, the Eastern region, led by Colonel Chukwuemeka Ojukwu, declared secession, forming the Republic of Biafra. This marked the beginning of the Nigerian Civil War, also known as the Biafran War. Gowon's government responded swiftly by creating 12 new states to weaken the support for Biafra. The war was brutal, lasting 30 months, and it claimed millions of lives, including from famine, largely due to blockade imposed by Gowon's federal government. In 1970, Biafra surrendered and Gowon delivered his famous "No Victor, No Vanquished" speech, promoting reconciliation and unity after the devastating conflict. He announced a program focused on reconciliation, reconstruction, and rehabilitation to rebuild the torn eastern region. Despite accusations of war crimes, including genocide and targeting civilians during the conflict, Gowon has consistently denied any wrongdoing, maintaining that his actions were necessary to keep Nigeria united.
From all indication, a new government has been established in Nigeria. I wish to state that I, on my part, have also accepted the change and pledged my full loyalty to my nation, to my country, and the new government. Therefore, in the overall interest of the nation and our beloved country, I appeal to all concerned to cooperate fully with the new government and ensure the preservation of peace, unity, and the stability of our dear motherland.
Gowon's military government, which lasted nearly 9 years until his overthrow in 1975, also benefited from the oil boom of the 1970s, which allowed for significant infrastructural development in the post-war years of Nigeria.
You do your best and be a loyal Nigerian, love Nigeria, good or bad, and whatever it is, if it is bad, try to make it better.
Although remembered for his wartime leadership, his tenure in power left a lasting impact on Nigeria's political and economic landscape, including the solidification of military rule in the country for years to come.
Still staying with today's celebrations, as the nation celebrates one of the most iconic figures in Nigerian history and former head of state, General Yakubu Gowon, at 90. President Bola Tinubu, represented by his wife and First Lady of Nigeria, Oluremi Tinubu, has showered encomiums on the elder statesman, acknowledging his role in forging a united Nigeria. The event brought together the country's most influential figures, including past Nigerian presidents, who were gathered to honor the man who played a pivotal role in the nation's history. In this special report, Gaza Yakubu takes us through the legacies and highlights of General Yakubu Gowon at 90.
His leadership during Nigeria's most turbulent years, particularly during the Nigerian Civil War, has left an indelible mark on the nation's history. The First Lady of Nigeria, Oluremi Tinubu, took a moment to express her admiration for General Gowon and his wife, highlighting his humble persona and unwavering dedication to the nation.
We cannot celebrate you without doing same to our beloved mother, Her Excellency Mrs. Victoria Gowon, a woman of grace, class, and style. Looking back, I realized that your life was a life destined by God, who called you to be an exemplary leader of good in this world of cynicism and despair. Your life of simplicity, humility, grace, dignity, and patriotism to our nation gives us hope that Nigeria is all we have, and we have to do everything in our power to make it work. Your love for country is infectious. I want to thank you for your kindness, love, and support to me and Mr. President, for always opening your home to me and making me feel welcome each time I visit.
As General Yakubu Gowon turns 90, the presence of former presidents of Nigeria, Olusegun Obasanjo, Goodluck Jonathan, and Vice President Yemi Osibanjo, underscores the gravity of this milestone. Each took to the stage to shower General Gowon with encomiums, hailing his contribution to Nigeria's unity and its enduring leadership.
If you ask me to make just one clause about the one, I will tell you that this is peace ambassador par excellence. His leadership was focused on peace and unity. And then the slogan then was that to keep Nigeria warm is the tax that must be done. General Gowon embodies all that we expect of leadership: the fear of God, humility, honesty, integrity, respect for the people.
General Yakubu Gowon was born on October 19, 1934 in Kanke, present-day Plateau State, and was raised in Wusasa, Zaria, Kaduna State, following his father's migration from Plateau. It was here that General Gowon's father, late Yohana Gowon, served, instilling in his children a deep sense of faith and responsibility.
This is a place that everything began. It's very historic in Hausa land. And this was the church the family worshipped. And I would say with every confidence that yes, the family worshipped here. And as a young person growing in Wusasa, we were very positive that he was influenced by this. And we saw this manifesting in his life.
The late 1960s marked one of Nigeria's darkest periods, the era of the Nigerian Civil War or the Biafran War. Ethnic divisions threatened to tear the nation apart, with the southeastern region seeking secession. Yakubu Gowon faced the monumental challenge of preserving Nigeria's unity.
At the time he became the head of state, Nigeria was at a brink, whether to break up or to continue. And there was, potential danger in the horizon. And when he took up as the head of state, we know, of course, the civil war erupted, but he was able to, reunite the country. The first criticism that people threw at him is if you look at the number of the people that suffered or died during the Civil War. People say that it would have been done differently. About 1 million people are said to have died during the Civil War, most especially from the Biafran side.
After nearly 3 years of conflict, in 1970, Biafran forces were finally routed in a series of engagement in late December 1969 and early January 1970. Ojukwu fled to Cote d'Ivoire, and the remaining Biafran officers surrendered to the federal government on January 15, 1970. Gowon's philosophy, no victor, no vanquish, set the tune for reconciliation, fostering peace rather than punishment. After 9 years in power, General Gowon's tenure came to an end. While attending the OAU summit in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia in 1975, he was overthrown by military officers. Eventually, a new military leader was installed, the late General Murtala Muhammad. Following his exodus from power, General Gowon lived in exile in Britain. By 1983, he earned a PhD and eventually became a professor of political science at the University of Jos. At 90, families, friends and dignitaries celebrate General Yakubu Gowon's life and the values and principles he has stood for. The general took to the stage to express his profound gratitude to well-wishers and dignitaries who took time to come celebrate with him.
But I want to thank all our fathers in the Lord. Let me thank all of you for what you've done for this particular service to celebrate my birthday. God bless you and continue to pray as you ask us continue to pray for Nigeria. And how I myself may continue like God will to pray for Nigeria. May God bless each and every one of you.
As Nigeria celebrates General Yakubu Gowon at 90, it is clear that his legacy of peace and unity continues to resonate across generations.
Happy birthday to the General. Now, Governor Umar Namadi of Jigawa State has approved the immediate suspension of Awaludala D. Sankara as Commissioner for Special Duties and members of State Executive Council, pending investigation into allegations made by the Kano State Hisbah. This was contained in a statement signed by the Secretary to the State Government, Bala Ibrahim. He said the decision comes in light of recent claims that necessitate a thorough examination to ensure transparency and uphold the integrity of the state administration. The SSG emphasized the commitment to accountability and adherence to ethical standards in governance by Governor Umar A. Namadi. The Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, has reacted to reports of the breakdown of the national grid on Saturday, describing it as a temporary grid disturbance. The reaction comes after the grid broke down for the third time this week. The grid collapse occurred early Saturday morning, with many states reporting total blackouts. Data obtained from the Nigerian System Operators Portal revealed that the grid recorded an unprecedented 0 megawatts as of 8:16 a.m. today. Data showed that all 22 generation companies, GENCOs, were down as of the time of reporting. The grid had collapsed twice this week, marking the 8th grid disturbance in 2024. Reacting to the collapse, TCN's General Manager, Public Affairs Ndidimba, said although the bus section of a current transformer had exploded at 330 kV Jeba transmission substation, power has been restored. No fewer than 170 people have now been confirmed dead in the tanker explosion that rocked Jigawa State on Tuesday. The State Police Public Relations Officer, DSP Lawan Adam, in a statement on Friday, noted that 70 others were still critically injured in different hospitals. The police spokesman noted that the injured were receiving intensive care at the Federal Medical Center Azari, Bauchi State, Nguru, Yobe State, and Brinin Kudu in Jigawa State. He added that other hospitals were injured. People are being treated include Hadeja General Hospital, Rashid Shekuni Teaching Hospital, Aminu Kano Teaching Hospital, and Dala Orthopedic Hospital. The tanker, which was traveling from Kano State, overturned on Tuesday while trying to avoid a collision with a truck which caused petrol to spill onto the road. Many villagers had rushed to the scene to collect the leaking fuel, leading to a massive explosion that killed at least 153 people and injured over 100 others. Still on the Jigawa situation, the national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, this Saturday visited Jigawa State to commiserate with the government and people of the state following a devastating petrol tanker fire incident in the state. The deadly blaze claimed nearly 200 lives and left many others severely injured. Here's the report. The APC chairman, Abdullahi Ganduje, accompanied by a delegation of APC party leaders, was received by Governor Umar Namadi at the Government House in Dutse. The visit was aimed at offering support and solidarity to the state as it mourns the tragic loss of lives and struggles to care for the injured. As part of the visit, the APC chairman, alongside Governor Namadi, paid a visit to some of the survivors receiving medical treatment at the Federal University Dutse Teaching Hospital. During the hospital visit, Ganduje offered condolences to the
people of Jigawa State, the families of those affected, and by implication to Nigerians on the unfortunate accident that happened at Majia, in Taura local government, linking Emirate Council. It was unfortunate, but that is work of God, the work of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It was not induced by anybody. It was purely an accident.
Governor Namadi expressed gratitude to the APC chairman and his entourage for their visit, emphasizing the need for unity and support during the difficult period for Jigawa State.
Your Excellency, what we saw in Jigawa, I can't recall it happens anywhere in Nigeria. Tanker explosion do happens in so many places, but the number of lives that are involved, I don't think it happens anywhere in Nigeria. As the last count this morning, we have 171 people dead, and we have 75 people in different hospitals, both within the state and outside the state. Your Excellency, the most pertinent aspect of this, 60 to 70% of these people are used within the age of 18 and 35 years. So this town of Maja is a town under the Taura local government. Not only the town, Jigawa State will take us a long time to forget this incident.
The fire incident has left the state in shock as emergency services continue to respond to the tragedy and provide aid to those affected. Yet to be identified Assistant Superintendent of Police ASP serving with the Lagos State Police Command was on Saturday morning lynched by some irate commercial motorcycle riders, also known as Okada riders, in the Agege area of the state. The deceased had led a team of policemen to an accident scene along Wemco Junction by Mobile Road in Agege when his team came under heavy attack. It was learned that the policemen had gone to evacuate a truck that knocked down a commercial motorcyclist, but met stiff resistance from the rider, who insisted that they must set the truck on fire. Spokesman of the Lagos State Police Command, Benjamin Hundeyin, who confirmed the incident, described the killing as an unprovoked attack on an innocent policeman by irate commercial motorcycle riders. Hundeyin said the team got a distress call at about 1:40 a.m. on Saturday about an accident that involved an Okada rider and a trailer. He said preliminary investigations revealed that it was the rider that ran into the trailer at Wemco Junction, Mobile Road by Pensinema, Agege. The Lagos police spokesman, who said the Okada rider unfortunately died in the process, added that 5 suspects have since been arrested while the manhunt for others is on. A man has died after allegedly jumping into a canal to avoid arrest in the Ikpaja area of Lagos State. The Lagos Police Command spokesman SB Benjamin Hundeyin confirmed the development on his verified X handle on Friday. He said the incident happened on Wednesday at about 10 a.m. in the Moson Okonola area of Ikpaja. This is still News Hour on Trust TV. Still to come. Farmers decry low patronage despite reduced cost prices. This story and more when we return. Please do stay with us. Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. Now a recap of our top stories. APC win all 23 chairmanship seats and 255 ward councillors in Kaduna local government polls. We also informed you that ex-military leader Yakubu Gowon celebrates 90th birthday. More stories. Youths, including students in Ogbomosho, your state, on Saturday, took to the streets to protest the poor condition of the Ogbomosho road, lamenting the tragic loss of lives caused by frequent accidents. The demonstrators condemned the deaths resulting from the road's dilapidated state, labeling the losses as a product of negligence, which they described as murder. The students under the National Association of University Students and Ogbomosho Indigenous Associations issued a 30-day ultimatum to the federal and Oyo state governments to address their grievances. The youths warned that failure to meet their demands would lead to mass demonstrations and economic shutdowns. Speaking on behalf of the protesters at the Saki roundabout in Ogbomosho, the vice president of NOAS, Taimiyu Olayinka, stated that the preventable deaths are not accidents but murders. Drivers and commuters on the Jos-Saminaka Road are expressing frustration over its poor condition, which often leads to vehicle breakdowns. Despite being in disrepair for years, authorities have yet to take action. Trust TV's Adomos have visited the affected communities to assess the state of the road and its impact on drivers and other road users. His report.
Vehicles, motorcycles and other conveyances are caught in a daily struggle on the treacherous Jos-Saminaka Road, where many get stuck in the mud. The road's deteriorating condition has turned every journey into a precarious zigzag battle, with vehicles tilting at alarming angles on the slippery surface as they navigate massive potholes filled with water. This situation has caused accidents, leaving behind a trail of destruction and despair. This is Jos-Saminaka Road, which has been in a deplorable condition for over 2 decades and a constant challenge to many road users. I am currently in Federal Community, one of the communities located along the Jos-Saminaka Road. We are on our way to Kano State where our vehicle got stuck in the mud around 1 a.m. Despite our efforts, we could not get out. We have now hired some locals to help rescue the vehicle from the pothole. That is why anytime we have business along this road, I get anxious. I have been traveling on the road for more than 20 years, but the situation deteriorated in recent years. Every day we drive on this road, we get trapped. We will always call people to assist us pull our vehicle. Those of us from this axis are not benefiting from democracy. Traditional leaders and other residents living along the road also share their ordeal.
Problem is of this road is many, because this road has been like this for years and it has caused accident, it has caused wreckage in cars, long vehicles collapse on a daily basis, and so it has become a nightmare to the resident of the Saminaka, to Jos, Kano to Jos, Kafanchan to Jos, etc., etc.
During the rainy season, commuters often spend the night in this community because water floods the area, making the road inaccessible for drivers. When a truck overturns, it blocks the road, preventing other vehicles from passing, which frequently leads to traffic jams. If you look closely, you will see various vehicles stuck in the mud. Just behind you, for example, 2 vehicles are stranded on my right. They get stuck almost every day. We have witnessed numerous accidents here due to the state of the road. For years, local volunteers who patch the road at regular intervals said they are tired of filling the road. The team leader of the group speaks on the condition of the road. The volunteers said the extent of the road's damage is beyond our capacity, considering its continued deterioration. We have been patching the road for years, hoping the government would intervene before the situation worsens. Despite our efforts, the level of damage exceeds what we can handle. Trust TV gathered that the rehabilitation contract for the Kaduna-Maraban-Jos, Pambegua-Saminaka-Jos Road, spanning 199 kilometers, was initially awarded to PW Nigeria Limited in 2010 during the administration of late President Musa Yar'Adua. It had a 1-year completion timeline. However, the project has remained incomplete a decade later. In December 2020, former President Muhammadu Buhari's administration re-awarded the project to Setraco Nigeria Limited for 38.7 billion naira, granting a 12-month deadline for completion. Yet, during a recent visit, it was found that work has halted at Kayarda between Pambegua and Saminaka, with no indication of resuming the project. When contacted, the Director of Press for the Ministry of Works, Muhammad Sabo Ahmed, asked our reporter to visit him in his office, but when the reporter got there, he was told that the director was not around. He also did not pick up calls put to him afterwards. However, a reliable source in the ministry who is familiar with the project told Trust TV that the project was halted due to lack of funds owing to the high cost of materials. He said it will take about 98 billion to complete the project. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
The Taraba State Special Task Force Committee on the Suspension of Mining and Deforestation Activities has announced plans to dismantle multiple illegal revenue checkpoints spread across the state. The decision came at the weekend when the chairman, General Jeremiah Aliyu Faransa, retired, stormed some of the illegal checkpoints spread along the highways of Low and Yoro local government councils of the state. Emphasizing the need to streamline revenue collection efforts, he explained that legal checkpoints would be consolidated to ensure proper oversight and accountability. While also verifying the number of legitimate state-approved revenue vendors, Faransa stressed that designated collection points would simplify the revenue process. He warned illegal operators to desist from their activities or face serious consequences. He further disclosed that the state government is working on strategies to regulate the growing number of revenue vendors, ensuring that their services are transparent and contribute positively to the state's development. Unauthorized federal task force committees operating in the state were also directed by the chairman to cease the activities with immediate effects. As the world grapples with a severe housing deficit that is affecting over 1.6 billion people, the number is expected to rise to 3 billion by 2030. The root cause, according to stakeholders, lies in a mismatch between supply and demand, exacerbated by rural-urban migration. To address this, especially in Nigeria, Lagos residents have been speaking on the news for the government to balance short-term relief with long-term sustainability. Victoria Tokolo has more. This report is presented from our studios.
Tackling the issue of housing in Nigeria requires the efforts of federal and state governments to focus more on promoting investment in affordable housing, enhancing incentives for developers and landlords, as well as coordinating housing policies through a multifaceted approach. This will require learning from successful initiatives in countries such as the Paris Affordable Housing by working towards ensuring everyone has a place to call home. In Lagos, residents say there is a need for the government to implement effective measures to provide housing estates at affordable rates for all.
where people get to live. It should be a top priority according to Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And the one way that government can intervene is by providing massive housing facilities like we had in the days of Jakonde, where you have estates all over the states where people could, pay in installments if you want to buy, or pay also in installments if you want to rent. So affordable housing is only possible when government intervene by building massive estates across the states, or if it's federal, across the country.
You want to know the way Nigerians are living, a good standard of living, and the way they are housing. You can just take a ride within Lagos State in the night. You can see a lot of people sleeping under bridges, sleeping under pedestrian bridges, sleeping under bus park to show that they cannot afford the cost of housing. So if government can take out 1 to 10% of their yearly budgets, likewise the state government taking out 1 to 10% of their yearly budget for the housing, at least the housing issue will be reduced.
It's government that's supposed to speak with those developers so that they will reduce the house rent, because the house rent is too high. Now the room and parlor self-contained now. Some area they are paying 1.5 for room and parlor, especially in this Lagos. They are paying, even some people are collecting almost 2 million for room and parlor. It depends on how the house is being. So the government should please talk to those developers.
Government need to look into the agents and agreement something. If government can eradicate those agents and agreement things, it will be better for the Lagosian, the citizens of this country. Secondly, government needs to provide more housing for the citizen, because it is not normal for the person that is earning like 50,000 monthly and he will be paying something like 300, 400 yearly.
According to the United Nations, 1.6 billion people, that is 1 in every 5, lack adequate housing, and the number could rise to 3 billion by 2030. Hence the need for governments, including that of Nigeria, to address the challenge before it gets out of hand.
Over in Jalingo, Taraba State capital, firewood vendors say their business is facing the challenge of multiple taxation from security agencies along the highway. Speaking in an interview with Trust TV, some transporters and firewood vendors said this has led to an increase in the price of firewood in the market. Here's more in this report.
Most residents of Jalingo, the Taraba State capital, prefer using firewood for their daily cooking following the rise in the price of gas. As a result, the market is always besieged by a huge number of buyers from different locations across the town. Dahiru Hamma Misau, a firewood transporter, says although there is a restriction on the cutting fresh trees for firewood, operators are however allowed to cut dry ones. I used to go to Apawa on Thursday to bring firewood here to sell because cutting fresh trees is restricted, but we are allowed to cut the dry ones. Our major challenge is that of the security agencies on the highway. They stop us and check if we are carrying fresh trees or charcoal, which are all restricted. After the checks, we give them some amount of money to enable us pass. According to Bamayi Musa, another transporter, access road remains a challenge, as well as multiple taxations from the army, police, road safety and other task force. I load firewood as my occupation. We load from different places like Shobogana, Lande Jesse, Lande Sakwa. The road is very bad, and in some places, villagers will tell you that bandits and the kidnappers warn them that nobody should pass through there. But we always take the risk because we have to survive. It is only God that is protecting us. Police collect firewood from us, while we also pay road safety officials to allow us to pass. That's not all. We also do the same to different task force. We don't carry charcoal because if you are caught with charcoal, it is like you were caught with illegal substances like cocaine. Retail sellers like Alfred Eramia from Lankaviri frowned at the attitude of security agencies, added that it is the reason why prices of firewood have increased. am from Lankavari. This is the only business we rely on to survive. Despite the cost of transportation and security risk in the bush, we still manage to bring out the firewood. But security agencies on the highway are threatening our survival with multiple taxes. The government needs to stop them from collecting these taxes. Some residents who have been resorting to firewood due to the exorbitant price of gas are, however, lamenting that even firewood is gradually becoming out of their reach. I come here to buy firewood, but now the price has increased compared to what it was before. I don't really know what caused the increase. From the way things are now, gas is almost more economical than firewood because 1,000 naira firewood cannot prepare a meal for a household that is little big. I am here to buy firewood because I prefer to use it instead of buying gas at exorbitant price. However, the price of firewood is now getting high due to the increase in fuel price. A bunch of firewood that you could buy at the rate of 5,000 naira before is now 15 to 20,000 naira. Government should please do something. They called on the relevant authorities to come to their aid by halting multiple taxation of firewood vendors to ensure that prices reduce.
The cost of transportation occasioned by the latest fuel price hike is taking a toll on rural dwellers who depend on farm produce for survival. They are worried that despite moderate prices and availability of produce like yam in the rural markets, patronage has remained abysmally low. Jimmy Azande tells us more in this report.
This is a village market in the hinterland of Goma, where 10 tubers of sizable yams cost between 8 and 10,000 naira. Despite this availability and moderate prices, the sellers say there is more produce than there are buyers in the markets. We are losing it, even from our farms. The transport fare we incur bringing our produce to the market is unbearable. Sometimes we don't even get buyers. Our situation is that much pathetic. We bring the produce, sell, and it is not measurable with what we spend through transportation and the house needs we are supposed to buy from other traders. What are we even doing? The farmers. A bag of fufu is sold for 6,000 naira here. We are at a loss, but without options. I hope the government can do something. The trickle-down effect of the continuous fuel price hike on the villagers is exacerbated by poor road network, which has been a major problem of the hinterlands in the state. With local government autonomy in place now, it is hoped that the council chairman will alleviate the suffering of these rural settlers by providing the necessary infrastructure that will help reduce hardship among rural dwellers. Jimmy Azandi, Trust TV News, Makurdi.
About 44 Nigerians and Ghanaians were deported to their home countries in a single flight on Friday, according to the UK Home Office. The Home Office said the Nigeria and Ghana deportations were part of a major surge in immigration enforcement and returns, according to The Guardian UK. Since Labour came to power in July, 3,600 people have been returned to various countries, including about 200 to Brazil and 46 on a flight to Vietnam and Timor-Leste. Deportation flights to Nigeria and Ghana are relatively rare, with just 4 recorded since 2020, according to data released under Freedom of Information rules. The previous flights had far fewer people on board, with 6, 7, 16 and 21 respectively. Friday's flight had more than double that number removed on a single flight. The deportation came as news emerged that any asylum seekers who arrive in Diego Garcia before a treaty between the UK and Mauritius to hand back the Chagos Islands is finalized will be sent to St. Helena, a British territory in the Atlantic Ocean, described as one of the most remote places on Earth. One of 4 Nigerians who spoke with The Guardian while they were held at Brookhouse Immigration Removal Center near Gatwick before the deportation tried to kill himself. Meanwhile, the federal government has appealed to Nigerians in the diaspora to return home to contribute their quota to build a better and prosperous Nigeria. The chairman, Nigerians in the Diaspora Commission, Abike Dabiri Erewa, made the appeal on Saturday in Ado-Ekiti, the Ekiti state capital, while delivering the 12th Afe Babalola University Ado-Ekiti Award Convocation lecture titled Diaspora Engagements for National Development. Dabiri Erewa said Nigerians abroad should bring back their experiences and help prefer solutions to the socio-economic challenges hampering Nigeria's growth and development. The NIDCAM chairman will stress the importance of diaspora engagement for national growth and development, urged the diaspora Nigerians to embrace the abundant opportunities available in the country. She noted that Nigerians both at home and in the diaspora must join hands and coalesce efforts to develop Nigeria, as no foreigners will leave their country to develop others. Dabiri Erewa added the global of exposure and professional expertise of diaspora Nigerians who have excelled in various developmental sectors can be leveraged as a catalyst for national growth and development. Away from Nigeria, in Mozambique, gunmen have killed the leading opposition politician's lawyer and another opposition official before protest against a disputed election result. The attackers chased the car of Podemos Party's lawyer Elvino Diaz and party representative Paulo Guambe and fatally shot them on Friday night at capital Maputo, the party said on Saturday. Videos on social media showed a BMW SUV in the middle of the road with numerous bullet holes in the bodywork. Some of the videos showed that what appeared to be the bodies of 2 men, one with blood on his chest in the front seats, while the other body was slumped over. The killings came with tensions already high in the southern African country as it waits for the results of an October 9 election that has drawn more allegations of vote rigging and clamping down on dissent against the 49-year rule of the Front for the Liberation of Mozambique Frelimo party. Podemos has rejected provisional results showing a win for Frelimo and called for a nationwide strike on Monday. Although Venancio Mondlane ran for president as an independent, he was supported by Podemos. 3 partially functioning hospitals treating severely wounded patients and sheltering thousands of displaced Palestinian civilians in northern Gaza are now out of service after coming under intense Israeli fire. This is even as the siege on Jabalia enters its 3rd week, with at least 33 more people killed in the northern area. Israeli forces bombed Al-Awada hospital in Jabalia early on Saturday and have also shelled Kamal Hadwan and the Indonesian hospitals in Beit Lahia over the past few hours. At least 1 person has been killed and several others were wounded in the strike at the entrance of the laboratory of Kamal Adwan Hospital, Gaza's health ministry said. The Palestinian news agency Wafa also reported that because of the military siege, 2 intensive care units patients at the Indonesian hospital have died on Saturday. In another Israeli attack on central Gaza's Maghazi refugee camp, at least 16 people were killed. Palestinian official news agency Wafa said on Saturday, adding that some are still missing people under the rubble. At least 7 people were also reported killed in a separate Israeli strike on a school sheltering Palestinian refugees in Al-Shati camp just west of Jabalia. And in sports, Governor Amadu Umaru Fintiri has reiterated his commitment to empowering youth through sports. He made the pledge while receiving Guinness World Record chess champion Chude Onokoya at the Government House in Yola. Gibson Swarigo tells us more.
Speaking through his Chief of Staff, Dr. Edgar Amos, Governor Fintiri congratulated Tunde Onokoya on his Guinness World Record, calling it a win for all Nigerians. He highlighted his administration's focus on youth development through education and sports, citing the construction of an Olympic standard stadium and various sports initiatives.
I'm also delighted to note that
you are interested in IDPs. These are hapless victims of circumstances they didn't contribute to. Yet God has endowed them with the same potentials as those who are not in IDP camps. I'm sure God will bless you for targeting them to see that their potentials are harnessed. But not just IDP camps, even those who are not in IDP camps. I'm also delighted to note that you have education, their education as a priority. Education is arguably the best and most potent tool for driving the development of any society. The extent, the pace, and the direction of any society depends on how educated their citizenry are.
In his response, Tunde Onokoya emphasized that his mission in the state is to uplift the less privileged through sports. He praised Governor Fintri for his substantial investment in human capital development and encouraged continuous support for the sports sector to promote unity and drive progress.
We're here not just because of we just want to convene, but we're here because of the children. And it is the decisions we make in this room today, the things that we do, that will help us decide the future. So once again, it's an honor for me to be here. I look forward to experiencing the people, the culture. They say it's a land of beauty. Yes. You know, the beauty and of course the children. To tell their stories, not in a way that demeans them, that oh, these are poor children, in a way that truly, truly dignifies them, to support Vivian's work and to continue to, you know, grow chess in the state as well. Someday, maybe Adama will become the national state champion for chess. And that will be remembered.
Vivian Ibrahimi, convener of the chess program at IDP camps, earlier expressed gratitude to the state government for its support. She noted that the initiative targets over 10 children from the camps and pledged to make the program an annual event. Gibson Soadugo, Trust TV News, Yola.
And with that, we've come to the end of News Hour tonight on Trust Television. For more of our news, programs and documentaries, to want to follow us on our social media platforms and on our YouTube live stream. Thank you for joining us tonight. I am Chiamaka Mwafo.